with all that being said, like, so don't think I don't see what you do, Rob. Rob is good, yeah. Y'all think he's the counselor for nothing. Y'all think he's the workload for nothing. So I guess with that being said, when we think about striking at the right time, which is basically what you were talking about, whether that's through the fashion, the culture, whatever's going on in the zeitgeist. If you have something to say about that and you are dope, that's when you can blow.
Right.
Pretty much. In summarizing kind of what you were saying, but the topic is, what is the best quarter? Or with all that being said, is there a best quarter of a business year, of a fiscal year for a person, an artist to drop music?
For sure. First things first, labels definitely play by these elements. When artists drop, usually when they sign an artist, they go through a development phase. But when it's time for them to release some music, they're very critical on what quarter, based on how music has been moving for the past couple of years. And then also naturally, the style of music that you're putting out, the context, the concepts, the mood, the drive, the tempo, all of those things play a part in how you want to put out the music, or what quarter you're going to put the music out in. Like, for instance, let's say, so we have first quarter, top of the year, January, February, March. Second quarter, April, May, June, part of July. Third quarter is August, September, October, and fourth quarter is November, December. Is still going back to January. So that's,
but also it's important to know that as any corporation or company, your fiscal year is your fiscal year.
Right,
you can start that in June. You can start that in May. So it's not the same for everyone.
Exactly. So in music, usually like the second quarter is where a lot of up-tempo music comes out in. Reason being is because it's the summertime. It's also still part of spring. So there's a lot of prom time. There's a lot of celebration situations.
It's right after tax season. It's right during tax season.
Exactly. Tax season, people spending money, everybody going up. So you would probably put out a club record or something that's up-tempo and feeling good around that time. You don't have to do that, but that's where generally people understand the energy of the world operates in that context.
Right.
Then you have the first quarter. Is a lot of people don't drop the first quarter because first quarter is usually for like who's hot, who's popping, who's on somebody's radar, who's next up. Right. That's a thing, right? And even with that, it's like it's a good quarter for new artists to test the water. What do we have? What can we drop? We just signed this new artist. What can we put out? Even if the record has been going for a couple of months, in the first quarter, if they bring them on board, let's continue the flow of the record.
Yeah.
Third quarter is a pretty good quarter because that's where album mode, like it's the fall. You know what I mean? You want to do some nice R&B. You want to do some contemporary style music.
For those who are like really on top, they want to win award season, like you started out when award season.
Award season, that's the time. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of conceptual style music, you would say, would come together, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is usually like a lot of times, a lot of the power players will drop in the fourth quarter before they go on vacation. But it's not a quarter that people normally drop through.
But one thing that I did see, that's big. I'm trying to get this to. He released a lot of these albums in the fourth quarter. This is Jay-Z's discography. And so, like you said, when we're talking about the people on the top, they can do that. Like
they can do that.
Right. So
it is a quarter, not to cut you off, but it's a quarter where everybody's finalizing things. A lot of times you get certain artists or certain crews being signed during the fourth quarter, so everybody can go on vacation and regroup and come back and say, okay, what do we need to do? If you look up a lot of histories of hip hop signings, it's usually in the fourth quarter. But like you said, Jay-Z's biggest runs is always the fourth quarter, because a couple of things. He understands that there's not going to be a lot of people dropping around that time unless you're a major artist and you're bold. Secondly, and this is one, and Jay-Z's very smart for this. You know that there's really two times where people spend a lot of money on music and like family. It's summertime and it's holiday season. Those two times, they spending wild dough because they're going to spend money on the music, because the music is going to drive the energy of them doing anything. When you go on vacation, people used to carry their Walkmans, they used to carry their boom boxes, all the way fast forward to now, where you got your phone loaded up with your Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, whatever it is. You got your playlist of what you finna play or what album you finna play when you on vacation and when you on holiday season vacation as well. You got the whole thing. So in Jay-Z's eyes, if he can squeeze in an album before you officially hit late November where actual holiday music goes, that means that you're either listening to holiday music or the Jay-Z album for the last 3 months of the year.
That's holiday music is always hard to go against. Mariah Carey made $1 billion from that one record. And I think the trade-off is we don't need to listen to any of her music any other time of the year. No, I'm just kidding. We love.
Well, I mean, we love Mariah, but yeah, her Christmas music is fire. It's killer. She will always eat off of that. But that's a very small window. But if you execute it right, you'll be the talk of the town for those 3 months, plus an extra 2 months when everybody come back to work. When the labels come back to work and you still on fire, that's it. Now, case in point, I'll say that. I'll tell you a story. So we, everybody know I was a part of, crafting and putting together Cali Swag's Teach Me How to Dougie, right? When we put out that record, in the third quarter. We put out that record in like August, right? It started going and started doing its thing. Cali Swag performing at the school tours, things like that. Shout out to Randy's school tour. Out there doing their thing, promoting the record. We not on radio yet, but it's getting some good love, on, just record being out there. We did shoot the first music video. You was there because you was shooting it. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, first music video was going well. We doing our thing.
And just not to cut you off, but thanks again. You rest in peace, Big Quad. Shout out for all the opportunities that opened up for me. Continue.
Yeah, for facts, man. You did your thing. So music video was out. They performing on school tours. Everything's going well. Now the holiday season is coming, but this record is still going. It's going. It's selling. We already had it up. You know what I'm saying? On TuneCore, it's already selling. It's doing its thing. It's becoming popular. It's still booming all the way during the Christmas time till January.
Search it on TikTok. Look at millions of videos.
Millions of views. People in the industry know in January, the second and third week of January, everybody at the labels are going back to work. They're going back to work. If it's not like January 18th through the 20th or the 25th, that's where everybody going back to work. The number one question, and I want y'all to hear this, the number one question that the labels in the music industry asks when everybody gets back to work in late January is who is hot? Who has a record that's going? Who's on fire? That's the question they ask. And whoever got a record that's going, they're going to attack them and say, hey, we need to go sign them. Right. Teach Me How to Dougie was on fire doing this thing all the way till January. By the time the end of January came, they was beating down our door trying to sign us.
And that's what a lot of people don't know, that these records, these songs of the summer are sometimes cooked up in December and January.
Right. So everywhere from Atlantic, Capitol, Sony, it was offers everywhere. And we have more music we cooking up more records, but that record is just going crazy. We end up signing the Capitol, everything worked out great, and y'all see the history of what that record is. The point that I'm making is, if you're independent, because at that moment we were independent when we dropped that record. But if you're independent and you decide to work in the third and fourth quarter, just know, work to get your record as hot as possible, because if you get it hot during a holiday season, they're going to come beating down your door when they come back to work. I promise you that. Remember, the labels and everybody is closed. In December to mid-December to the beginning of January, it's closed. They're not doing nothing. They're not signing nobody. They're not dropping nothing. They're not doing nothing. That means that you got a whole, month and a half to 2 months, however you want to look at it, to drop music and promo and try to be on fire. Because if you're the first person that's on the desk of who they need to search for when they come back, you finna get a check. You finna get a bag. You know what I mean? So using these, and I'll answer the question about when is the best time to drop music, because it's a two-part answer. When it comes to artists that are signed to labels and organizations, you want to maximize their dollar amount because you have a budget. Let's talk about the artists who have a budget. So, in my opinion, second quarter, which is the summer quarter, and third quarter are the best times to drop music when you have a machine behind you, when you have a company or organization behind you, because the summertime and then the fall, all eyes going to be on you. Summertime, everybody outside, anything up tempo is a go. Fall time, anything conceptual. If you're a conceptual type of artist, you're doing anything of that nature that's really bringing intellectual levels, really storytelling, good videos, all that type of stuff. Do it third quarter. That's money. Now, if you are independent, your quarters, in my opinion, are the fourth quarter and the second quarter, because you have the ability as an independent to drop whatever you want. So you can really flood the market if you want. You can play all quarters if you want, but I'm saying your strongest records or strongest possible songs that can get everywhere, drop it in the second quarter, because that's summertime. Have fun with all of that. Even gangster rap. Like, remember, gangsters get out of jail in the summertime. They give them release dates in the summertime because they hope they fuck up and go back to jail. So
is that a thing? Is that always the thing? And I've worked in the jails. They kind of just get out when they get out.
Yeah, for the most part. But I'm saying gangster music is prime in the second quarter, because it's going to lead into the summertime with people hopping in their rides. Hopping, you know what I'm saying? It's girls all around. You want to have your low rider. You want to do your thing. It's lit. Yeah. Then you got the fourth quarter where everybody quiet, so you get a chance to kind of sneak through everybody and try to get something rocking and popping. Especially if you're being mega consistent in the fourth quarter, you got a chance to be on fire coming into the new year. You know what I mean? Right. So those things are important, because your layout of how you dispense music and content is even more important now that we have such a big surge of music and content going around. But if you're really strategic and you understand the quarters, you know what I mean, and how they work, you can work it in your favor because you're independent and you can do things that the other majors can't. The major label artists can't do. You know what I mean? If I was somebody that was an artist, I would ask my team to really pay attention to everybody that's dropping, not just major artists, but anybody on my radar. As an independent artist, anybody on the radar, let's see what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if we want to work together. Or especially, looking for people that I might want to work with.
Thank you. Even features, like, I'm glad you said that. Even features are selected based on quarters sometimes.
Right.
If you know that you got somebody like a Nicki Minaj or a Cardi B that's going to drop in a quarter.
I was going to say now it's not the quarter for Nicki Minaj, but I know what you're saying.
But if you know Cardi B is coming out in the third quarter, right? You know she probably might be quiet in the first and the second. You could probably get a feature from her during that time that's not going to interfere with her releases. And it might be for a better price as opposed to when she on a run. She might not even do it when she on her run.
Well, she might even be a bad example, man. Well, she had 2 albums in the last 15 years.
Yeah, but remember her feature game was crazy.
That part, but you know, I'm not thinking about releases. I didn't know that's what we were talking about. Just any release.
Just any release.
That is what it is, because I didn't specify album or anything. It was
right.
Released music. Right. Gotcha.
I would just say pay attention to their releases for a multitude of reasons. Because maybe you might want to work with them to get them on your project, or maybe you might want to stay away from them if your music is similar. Like, there's so many different reasons that you can bring up, but paying attention to people's releases is important. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in the game. You say if you it's nothing different than if you're a basketball player, you want to know who scored 30, you want to know who scored 20, you want to know who had 10 assists. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. If you're a sign painter, you want to know who did that joint over there. If you a graffiti artist, you want to know who threw that dope ass piece up. Like,
exactly. You want to know who territory is what based on how often they go in that area and spray paint. You know what I mean? Like, it's a part of the game. I encourage every artist, especially indie artists, to get into that world and that science of doing your research on when is the best time for you to put out music. You know what I mean?
Dope. Yeah, man. Always much appreciated. Y'all clap it up for the counselor. This is what he's here for. And before we hit halftime, let me just thank you for that, man. You always be on point with the artist and the creative's point of view on things.
I appreciate that.
Never lacking on it, dude. There always have been. Shout out to you for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm gonna keep digging. Yes, sir. Things fall apart, man. This is what we're here for. We're here to help, hopefully shed some light on certain elements of the music industry and the culture and just the creative aspect, and hopefully y'all can get something from it. You know what I mean?